of somewhat muted growth, we are pleased to say that the trend has rectified itself and we had some good numbers for this quarter. The numbers are in line with what we had expected. Revenue for the quarter was 6,616 crores, up 5.1%, and quarter and quarter, and 20.5% year on year in rupee terms, but 12.3% in dollar terms. But we had two watershed events this quarter. One, for the first time in a quarter, our revenue was above $1 billion. I mean, think about it that 5 years ago, we were ecstatic when it reached $1 billion in a year. What we did in a year 5 years ago, we have done in 3 months in this quarter. We hope we can maintain this momentum. EBITDA margins also improved by 160 basis points, and for the entire company was 16.6% for the quarter versus 15% on quarter one. Profit after tax was at 786 crores, up 16%. Here is another watershed number. For the first time, profits before tax went up to 1,000 crores in a quarter for us. So net, I think we as a management team are satisfied that the progress is good and the trajectory is right. I mean, to get to this level, we had to take number of steps to rectify, to improve utilization. We improved utilization by 4% from 70 to 70, and pushed it up from 75% to 79%. From our perspective, while the first stage of rapid change in metrics has happened, we still expect that we have not reached the end, and there are areas where we could further improve the metrics, which we will endeavor to do so. Another area with which we have been able to seek and secure significant improvement is on account of the reduction in debtor days and significantly higher cash flow. We added 1,562 associates in quarter two, taking our headcount to 1,05,000. While we have seen some improvement happen, I do believe we need to take cognizance of the fact that the international scene is somewhat mixed. US continues to present a picture of stability and growth. UK is doing well. But having said that, we are seeing a fair amount of uncertainties in other parts of the world. Starting with China, which has come under economic pressure and which has led to a devaluation of the RMB. This came as a pretty big shock to the global economy. Europe continues to be a cause of worry, and we don't see any dramatic improvement in the Eurozone, especially the Mediterranean Eurozone. That continues to remain kind of sick. But net, this is the palette we have, and this is what we have to work with. And given the situation of the global economy, and given the fact that unlike some other companies, our business from Europe is significant, I do believe we have done well, and we are fairly, as a management group, we are fairly happy with the progress we have made so far. We will continue to work on the metrics, and I do believe we will see a fair amount of improvement in the numbers as we go forward. We have also separately endeavored to be a company, a unit which is responsible when it comes to the environment, and our efforts in this regard have been fully recognized, as Tech Mahindra was selected as an index component of the Dow Jones Sustainability Index under both emerging markets and in the world category. I am told we are one amongst the only 3 companies from India which was picked up by Dow Jones for the world index. Further this quarter, and I am delighted this happened, Tech Mahindra was ranked 3rd among 100 most sustainable corporations in Asia in 2015 in terms of sustainability ranking. As I said earlier, net, we are satisfied that the progress we have made is good, the trajectory is right. Business is always ups and downs, but the secular trend of both in growth and numbers looks very, very positive for us. With these remarks, I'll let our Chief Executive fill you in regard to the details of the company in the last quarter. CP?
Thank you, Vineet, and good evening, everybody. Welcome again to Tech Mahindra Q2 FY16 earnings report. In a way, what is super exciting for me this quarter is that we are now seeing growth in all parts of our business. You've seen our communication telecom business posting a 3% quarter-on-quarter growth, and this is literally after 3 quarters of subdued growth. So 3% quarter-on-quarter growth, and after 3 quarters of subdued growth. And it's not that the environment for the telecom business has changed dramatically. I mean, I still believe that business environment, particularly in telecom, I won't call it tough, but I would say it is slow. Because there is a fair amount of increased M&A activity. There is really a change that is happening on the technology spend. And though Tech Mahindra continues to be poised as one of the best suppliers, one of the best partners to the telecom communication providers, but still I would say is that within this tough environment, or within this, some of this changing environment, I think our communication business growing 3% quarter on quarter is very good. Enterprise business in a constant currency has grown about 3.1%. I mean, they continue to maintain that growth trajectory, and this is despite the fact that some of the sectors are really difficult, particularly oil and gas, particularly all the commodity mining business. I mean, this has been one of those difficult environments for them. Overall, I would say is that BSG, again, the BPO business, even that has shown a growth of about 0.5% quarter on quarter. So, as I said, one of those quarters one feels happy because you've seen all engines firing. Rather, you know, some could be on higher level, some could be on this. The most of the recovery has been led by US growth. US has grown about 4.6% quarter on quarter. Our rest of the world business, which is really Middle East, Africa, right up to Australia, that has got impacted, and really two reasons, as I said. Number one is oil and gas pipeline becoming slow, and secondly, I mean, some countries, particularly Australia, I mean, the currency headwinds shaved a lot of effort. So I still would had a volume growth in Australia, but in real currency, I mean, I had to shrink. So on a business outlook, I can only say is that deal pipeline continues to be good. Last quarter signing has also been pretty good. I mean, we had a 300 million.
Was the Tech Mahindra management Vinit Nair and CP Gurnani talking about their quarterly results. Let's now quickly cut across to Indian Oil Corporation, which also surged in trade after a soft start. Quarterly loss more than halved in the latest earnings. The inventory loss for the quarter stood at over 500 crore rupees. Chairman B. Ashok is addressing the media on what the performance means for investors. Let's listen to him right away.
Success, I can mention that recently we won a block in Mozambique as a joint venture. For